My name is Terry White. I'm 28 years old, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the family's safety net disguised as a daughter. I'm the one who keeps the lights on, the one who makes things work out. If you ask my family, they'd say I'm practical, dependable, always thinking ahead. If you asked me, I'd say I'm invisible, useful only when something breaks or a bill comes due. My little sister Jenna is the opposite. She's the dreamer, the creative one, the center of every conversation. When we were kids, I mowed lawns to buy my first phone. She got a new one for safety. I saved tips from waitressing to pay for my laptop. She got a new tablet because she needs it for her art. The rules were never written, but they were always clear. I worked. She found herself. The last Sunday dinner I went to was a month ago. Mom had a roast in the oven. Dad's game was on mute. Aunt Rose was polishing her wine glass like it was an Olympic sport. Jenna floated in 20 minutes late, oversized sweater, hair shiny enough to be in a commercial. She kissed Mom's cheek and said, "Do we have lemon water or just regular?" I was at the sink, chopping parsley. "Sink works," I said. She blinked at me, wrinkling her nose. "Oh, Terry, that's not filtered." Aunt Rose leaned in from across the table. "Terry, you're still renting, right? You should really buy. It's time to invest, dear." "I'm working on it," I said, half smiling. Mom didn't look up from basting. "She likes to be careful," she said. "Our planner." Then, almost to herself, "Besides, Terry's comfortable. She's not like Jenna. Jenna's meant for more." Jenna smiled that polite influencer smile. "It's a journey," she said. Dad turned up the volume for a replay. "Terry, grab the bill when it gets here," he added absently. I froze, then said, "I forgot my wallet in the car." Everyone laughed. It was an easy joke because it was an easy assumption. Of course I'd cover the bill. I always did. Later, in the living room, I told Mom I'd been offered a temporary post abroad. 6 months, maybe a year. Dublin. Travel paid, promotion included. She waved it off with the hand holding her glass. "Sweetheart, that's not realistic. Your sister needs you right now." "What does that mean?" "Don't be defensive," she said. "You know how Jenna is. She just needs a little runway." Jenna wandered in, checking her reflection in the TV screen. "You'll understand when you learn to let go a little," she said. Something old stirred in my chest. Not anger, something heavier. The feeling you get when a teacher says group project, and everyone looks at you because they know you'll do the work. I put the knife down. "I brought dessert," I said quietly. "It's in the fridge." Aunt Rose called from the table, "You're a good girl." Then whispered to Mom, thinking I wouldn't hear, "You're lucky to have her." Mom replied without lowering her voice, "Of course we are. That's what family is." There was a pause, that heavy kind where you're expected to nod, smile, and agree that being needed is the same as being loved. I nodded anyway. That was it. No shouting, no scene, just another quiet reminder of the rules. Jenna dreams. I do the dishes. Jenna finds herself. I find my wallet. That night, lying on my couch, the ceiling fan tracing slow circles above me, I couldn't sleep. Mom's words looped in my head like a lullaby turned threat. She needs you right now. And I could feel it, the right now, about to turn into a number. It didn't start with anything dramatic. It started with tiny numbers that seemed harmless. The first favor was the family phone plan. Mom said it would be simpler if one person handled it. That person, of course, was me. Next came the water bill. Same excuse. Then the car insurance. Just until your sister's situation stabilizes. Every time I told myself it was temporary. Every time I was wrong. I used to keep a list in my notes app. Dates, amounts, who it was for. To anyone else, it would have looked like grocery reminders. To me, it was a history of quiet sacrifices. When Dad's hours got cut, I paid half the mortgage for a few months. Those few months turned into 2 years. When I finally moved out, my name stayed on the power bill because the auto pay was already set up. "We'll switch it next month," Mom said. Next month never came. Meanwhile, Jenna floated through jobs like seasons. She tried a bakery internship, then a travel blog, then something called wellness coaching. Every time she'd call me crying, saying she needed a little help to keep her dream alive. Once it was $400 for textbooks, then $850 for a deposit she couldn't afford to lose, then $200 when her car died. I told myself it was fine. I could afford it. It kept the peace. But peace in my family had a price tag. When I once sent her a polite Venmo request with a message, "Hey, can you tackle this week?" she sent back a heart emoji and nothing else. Later, in person, she laughed and said, Don't be so transactional, Terry. That's gross. Mom's favorite line was, family is family, it evens out. Except it never did. It was just that the requests started coming packaged nicer. We were thinking we could all pitch in, or, you're so organized, sweetheart, it's easier this way. I wasn't a saint. I wasn't a martyr. I was just someone who could add up numbers. And still, I kept helping, because fighting them felt harder than paying. It was like leaving a light on for people who never came home. Then one January morning, my company offered me something different. A rotation in Dublin, 1 year, fully paid housing, and a raise. Everything I'd said I wanted when I was honest with myself. The email sat open on my laptop while I stared at it, coffee going cold in my hands. I should have felt joy. Instead, I felt guilt. Leaving wasn't just leaving, it was abandoning. Mom always made it sound like I was the glue holding us together. If you go, she'd said once, we'll fall apart. But what she meant was, if you go, we'll lose our safety net. Still, I told her about the offer. It's not permanent, I said. Just a year. She sighed into the phone. Let's talk after Jenna figures out her next step. Her next step came 2 months later. His name was Caleb. He wore beanies indoors, called Mom Ma'am, and posted long rants about escaping the corporate trap. Mom adored him instantly. By March, they had a dog. By April, Jenna quit her job. It was toxic. By May, the group chat was full of memes about rent being robbery and capitalism being evil. By June, I'd already chipped in for 3 small things: Mom's car repair, Jenna's insurance after she hit a Venmo limit, and an emergency vet bill for their dog Daisy. 2 and 16, 96, 347. They didn't look like much until they started stacking. That summer, the family's tone shifted from please to we need. Then came the white binder. It wasn't a text this time, it was a plan. A studio Jenna wanted to open with Caleb. Inside were color-coded tabs and a printout of the lease terms. When I looked at the cover page, I saw a number circled in red ink, 150,000. Jenna's opening her own place, Mom said, sliding the binder across the table like it was a wedding invitation. She just needs a guarantor. I blinked. A guarantor? Dad cleared his throat. It's just your name, Terry. Shows confidence to the bank. It shows liability, I said. Mom smiled thinly. You're overthinking this. We'd do it for you. They wouldn't. They never had. Jenna twirled her hair. It's not that deep. It's exactly that deep, I said, closing the binder. Her lips curved into a practiced pout. Wow, you're really tight, huh? That night, Mom cried on the phone. Dad didn't. Aunt Rose sent a voice note about abundant seasons. Jenna posted an Instagram story about toxic siblings who hoard wealth. Caleb texted me a thumbs down emoji. I put my phone face down and stared at the ceiling. The Dublin offer still sat open in my inbox like a door half cracked, a soft draft whispering through it. And I started to wonder if maybe that door wasn't just opportunity, it was escape. The white binder sat on my kitchen counter for 3 days before I threw it out. Not because I wanted to forget it, but because I didn't want to keep looking at the proof that my family saw my name as collateral. That week, Mom kept texting in half-pleading, half-commanding tones. Just think about it, honey. You're the responsible one. You know how Jenna gets. She just needs a start. I didn't reply. I was done being the family's startup fund. Then came Sunday dinner again. Uninvited, of course. Mom called it a talk, but everyone knew what it really was, a campaign. The binder was back, this time with pastel sticky notes labeled projections, profit model, and brand vision. Jenna and Caleb sat across from me, holding hands like business partners who happened to be in love with themselves. Mom beamed. Look at this, Terry. It's all worked out. Jenna's studio will be a family legacy. Jenna added, and you're part of that legacy. You're investing in us. I kept my tone even. It's not an investment. It's a loan I can't afford to risk. Caleb smirked. It's just paperwork. No, I said, it's debt, with my name on it. Dad's fork hit the table. Why do you always have to be so negative? It's family. Mom chimed in. You know we'd do the same for you. I met her eyes. When have you ever needed to? The table went quiet. Jenna rolled her eyes, tossing her hair over her shoulder. Wow, you're really tight, aren't you? Money's not everything. I stood up, gathering my bag. Then you won't miss mine. The silence was thick. Mom's face crumpled. You're being cruel. No, I said softly. I'm being clear. That night, my phone lit up nonstop. First Mom, then Dad, then Aunt Rose with her endless voice notes about energy and family abundance. Then came Jenna's Instagram post, a soft-lit selfie captioned, "Financial abuse isn't love. Some people hoard wealth just to feel superior. Within an hour, 2 of her friends had tagged me in comments. Caleb posted a story showing their dog Daisy curled up on a blanket. We'll be okay. Real love always finds a way. I stared at my screen until the images blurred. Then I closed the app, muted the group chat, and opened my laptop. The Dublin offer glowed back at me. 1-year contract. Start date, Monday. The cursor hovered over the button. I could almost hear Mom's voice. She needs you right now. I clicked accept. 2 days later, at 8:12 a.m., my phone buzzed while I was brushing my teeth. A text from Jenna. I quit today. I can't take the stress anymore. You'll support us while I figure things out. No question mark, no hesitation, just certainty. I stared at my reflection, toothpaste foaming in the corner of my mouth. My own eyes looked tired, older than 28, older than I should have felt. I rinsed, dried my hands, and typed, "Not my problem." For once, my hands didn't shake. I wasn't cruel. I was just done. 30 seconds later, Mom's name flashed on my phone. Call me now. Then again, and again. Then her text, all caps. Banned from Thanksgiving until you sign your sister's loan. I laughed. Not a full laugh, just a short, disbelieving sound that felt like air breaking free from years of pressure. Then Dad called. I answered. They were all on speaker. Behind them, I could see the kitchen. The same yellow wall clock, the fridge calendar with everyone's name but mine. Mom didn't waste time. You will apologize to your sister. No. What do you mean, no? I mean, I'm not signing anything. I'm not supporting 2 adults who refuse to support themselves. Dad's voice rose. Watch your tone. My tone is calm, I said. And it's going to stay calm. Jenna barged into the frame. Mascara streaked like she'd been crying, or practicing to look like she had. You're so selfish, Terry. You've never believed in me. I looked straight at her. I believed in you every time I paid for your books, your car, your phone, your dog, your projects. Belief has receipts. You're keeping score? She snapped. Yes, I said, because I'm the one paying the bill. Mom tried the guilt angle next. If you leave now, you abandon this family. I leave Monday, I said. For work, not for spite. Oh, she thinks she's better than us now, Jenna said. This isn't revenge, I replied. It's closure. Dad laughed, bitter. Closure from what? From doing your part? From being your plan, I said quietly. From being the solution every time something breaks. They all spoke at once. Mom crying, Dad shouting, Jenna accusing. Caleb's voice came from somewhere off camera, saying something about loyalty. I didn't raise my voice, I just repeated evenly, I'm not your guarantor, I'm not your salary, I'm not your emergency fund. Dad jabbed a finger toward the phone. You'll regret this. I already regret not doing it sooner, I said, and ended the call. I set the phone down like it was something that could still burn me. Across the street, my neighbor was watering his plants. The morning sun hit my window and filled the room with a rectangle of light. Nothing exploded. The world just kept moving. That afternoon, my phone turned into a war zone. Dozens of messages pinged, one after another, blue bubbles stacking on top of gray. Mom, you will come to the family meeting tonight. Me, no. Mom, don't make me choose between my daughters. Me, you already did. Then came Jenna's. Jenna, I hate you. You've always hated me. Me, no, I loved you enough to stop enabling you. Jenna, you don't know what love is. The irony almost made me laugh. I turned my phone face down on the table, opened my laptop, and drafted my resignation from every shared account I'd ever been attached to. The family phone plan, removed. Car insurance, unlinked. Streaming subscriptions, password changed. Utilities for my parents' house, autopay canceled. Each click felt like cutting a rope that had been wrapped around my chest for years. Mom tried calling again. I let it ring. Dad followed with a voice message. You think words protect you? You think policies will save you from blood? I deleted it. Then Caleb texted from an unknown number. Bro, real family doesn't walk away when it gets hard. I typed back. Then walk with her. Minutes later, Jenna sent a photo of her and Mom at the dinner table. Candles lit, the empty chair at the end glaringly obvious. Caption, some people forget where they came from. I whispered to myself. Some people never notice who kept the lights on. Around 9 p.m. my doorbell rang. I froze. Through the peephole, I saw Dad. Red-faced, jaw set, phone in his hand like a weapon. Terry, open this door. I didn't. He pounded harder. This is cowardly. I spoke through the door. No, Dad, it's boundaries. Silence. Then a bitter chuckle. You think you're better than your family? I think I'm finally treating myself like part of it. I waited until his footsteps faded before I sank to the floor. My hands were steady, but my breathing wasn't. I thought cutting them off would feel triumphant. Instead, it felt like a slow exhale after years of holding my breath. The next morning, I woke to a string of emails: airline confirmation, company housing details, Dublin itinerary. It was real. I packed slowly. Essentials only: passport, laptop, a few sweaters. Everything else went into 3 piles: keep, donate, trash. The keep pile was shockingly small. At noon, Aunt Rose called. "Sweetheart, be reasonable. You know your mother's heart." "I do," I said. "It beats faster when money's involved." She sighed. "You can't put a price on love." "Love shouldn't come with an invoice," I replied, and hung up. That night, the group chat resurrected itself. "Mom, final chance. Come tonight. Sign the papers. Keep your number. Thanksgiving at Aunt Rose's." Me: "No." Mom: "Why are you doing this?" Me: "Because the only way to stop being the plan is to stop being the plan." Mom: "We won't forget this." Me: "Me either." After that, silence. Real, peaceful silence. The next morning, I left my apartment spotless. I taped my flight details to the door. Train 6:20 a.m., airport, flight to Dublin, seat 21A. When I locked the door behind me, it felt like closing a chapter I'd been trapped inside. On the train, I looked out at the city passing by. Streets, bridges, coffee shops, all the places where I'd carried quiet resentment disguised as responsibility. As the skyline disappeared, I realized I didn't feel homeless. I felt free. The plane touched down under a gray Dublin sky. Cold air seeped through my coat as I stepped onto the tarmac, and for the first time in years, my shoulders didn't feel like they were carrying anyone else's weight. My company had arranged a small apartment near the office, a quiet space with white walls, a kettle, and a single plant by the window. 5 bills, all in my name only. The sound of peace. No shared plans, no group chats, no sudden emergencies disguised as love. For the first few days, I felt suspended between relief and grief. I'd built my whole identity around being useful. Without that, who was I? I made a list in my notebook. Simple things I hadn't done in years. Cook for 1, sleep through the night, go a full day without explaining yourself. By day 3, my phone buzzed again. A flood of messages waiting to break the calm I'd just found. Mom: "Your sister is sick. She's been crying for days." Me: "I hope she feels better." Mom: "You could call her, you know. Just because you're far away doesn't mean you stop caring." Me: "Caring isn't the same as rescuing." No reply. A few hours later, Jenna posted another photo, her and Caleb in front of a "for rent" sign, dog in her arms, captioned, "Starting over. Some of us do it without abandoning people." The comments poured in. "You're so strong. Family's tough. Stay true to yourself." I scrolled, heart numb. They were performing tragedy for an audience that didn't know the script. But I wasn't angry anymore, just tired. That night, I sat by the window with tea and watched the rain smear the city lights into ribbons. I opened my notes app, the same one that once tracked every dollar I'd sent home. I deleted the list, 1 transaction at a time. Each swipe felt like deleting old versions of myself. The next morning, I received a short email from my landlord back home. "All utilities disconnected, account closed." I smiled. A clean ledger. But peace didn't mean silence forever. 2 weeks later, a new message appeared from an unknown number. "Dad, your mother's in tears. She says you won't even answer her calls." Me: "I answered plenty. I just stopped agreeing." "Dad, you think money replaces love?" Me: "No, but in our house, love only started when money arrived." He didn't reply. Then, on a quiet Sunday, while the city church bells rang faintly in the distance, my phone buzzed again, this time from Jenna. "You win, okay? Mom's mad, Caleb's gone, and Daisy's sick. You happy?" I stared at the screen for a long time before typing. "I never wanted to win, Jenna. I just wanted peace." No response, just a read receipt and silence. That night, I closed my curtains, made a simple dinner, pasta and green beans, and ate without hurry. No background noise, no half listening for a phone call. It wasn't joy exactly. It was something gentler, quieter, and more honest. The kind of peace that doesn't announce itself, it just settles in, quietly reclaiming all the space that guilt once filled. As I washed the single plate in the sink, I whispered to myself, "It's over." And for the first time, I believed it. Thanksgiving came early that year, not on the calendar, just in my heart. While my family back home prepared their usual feast of tension and guilt, I sat in my Dublin apartment with a small plate of roasted chicken, potatoes, and green beans. The meal wasn't fancy, but it was mine. Every bite tasted like freedom. I set my phone on the table, face down, and let the quiet hum of the radiator fill the space where chaos used to live. Later that night, a message popped up. Jenna again. Jenna, are you happy now? I read it twice before replying. Me. I hope you find what you're looking for, Jenna. I just can't fund the search. The typing bubble appeared, then disappeared. She didn't respond. I set the phone aside and opened my notebook, the same one where I'd listed bills, deadlines, and debts for years. At the bottom of a clean page, I wrote, I won't co-sign chaos. I won't call neglect help. I won't trade peace for access. I won't apologize for keeping what I earn. And most of all, I won't be the plan anymore. When I finished writing, I sat back and let the silence wash over me. It wasn't the hollow kind that follows an argument. It was full and warm, like exhaling after years underwater. A week later, I walked the canals before work. The water mirrored a pale morning sky, and for the first time in years, I wasn't rehearsing excuses in my head. No, maybe next month. No, they just need a little help. Just steps, steady and unhurried. In the office, my new coworkers invited me to lunch. I laughed, an easy, genuine sound I barely recognized as my own. That night, back home, I watered my plant, scrolled through my phone, and realized something. There were no missed calls, no emergencies, no, we need you. Just quiet. It hit me then. Closure isn't a slammed door. It's the moment you stop holding it open. I thought about Mom's last message. We won't forget this. She was right. Neither will I. Because for the first time in my life, I'm not banned from anything that matters. I eat what I cook. I answer what I choose. I save. I sleep. This was never revenge. It was recovery. And somewhere between the rain, the quiet, and the steady rhythm of my own heartbeat, I finally understood. Being needed isn't the same as being loved.